How do you turn $100 into 1,000? Not in theory, not in a book, but right here, in the quiet and slightly uncertain space between curiosity and action. Let's start small. $100. It fits in your pocket. It can disappear. In a night out, a pair of shoes, or a few meals that taste good but fade quickly, it's not a fortune. It's not even a month's rent. But it's something, and more importantly, it's a beginning. The journey from 100 to 1,000 isn't just a financial one, it's emotional, mental, sometimes even spiritual. Because before the money grows, you do. Now, let's get something clear. This isn't a promise. There's no guaranteed path, no magical stock, no secret button. What there is rhythm, patience, and practice. The first thing you need to do is stop thinking of your $100 as something disposable. It's not gas money, it's not leftover cash, it's a seed. And like any seed, it asks for care. Not urgency, not impulse. Just attention. So we breathe and we look. Where do small amounts of money have room to grow? Let's start with the simplest path. Education. Before putting that 100 into a stock or coin or app, consider investing it in knowledge. Not a $2,000 course with dramatic marketing. Just a book, a few articles, a workshop, something quiet and reliable that deepens your understanding of how money behaves. A book about index funds, a free video on compound interest. Even a secondhand copy of something written before finance became a performance, because when you upgrade your thinking, your decisions improve, and those decisions, over time, compound more powerfully than any stock ever could. Let's say you still have your $100. You've read a bit. You're not rushing. Next step, choose your vehicle. There are many. Too many sometimes. Stocks, ETFs, peer-to-peer lending, high-yield savings accounts, crowdfunding startups, crypto, art, each one. Sounds convincing when spoken with confidence, but remember, you're not chasing charisma. You're building a foundation. For beginners, one of the most accessible paths is a low-cost index fund, something like a total market ETF. Why? Because it doesn't ask you to predict. It just asks you to participate. You buy a tiny piece of 100 or 1,000 companies. You let them live their chaotic business lives. And you do nothing, mostly. This isn't exciting. It doesn't trend. But over time, it works. Because you're not just making a trade, you're changing your posture toward money. From reaction to resilience. Of course, with only $100 even. A great return looks small at first. 10% on 100 is just 10. But this is where many people stop. They look at the result, not the habit, and they miss the point. Because here's a truth that's quiet but strong. What matters most is not the money. It's the muscle. The habit of investing regularly, even in small amounts, does something to your mind. It rewires the way you see opportunity. You stop thinking like a consumer. You start thinking like a builder. So maybe you add another $25 next month. Maybe not. Maybe life gets in the way. That's okay. You return, and you invest again. Not because you have to, but because it slowly becomes who you are. Some people take their $100 and learn a skill. Basic video editing, graphic design, freelance writing. If you can turn knowledge into service and service into income, that money stretches far beyond. Percentages. You turn it into leverage. Others use it to test ideas. A digital product. A blog with a niche audience. A small e-commerce experiment, not to impress, not to brag, just to learn, to stumble and adjust. And that's part of this too, permission to stumble. The path from 100 to 1,000 won't be clean. There will be moments where the value drops, where the platform crashes, where you question whether it's worth it. But that doubt, that's also part of the return. Because resilience isn't free, it's earned. Now let's talk briefly about timing. People ask, when's the right time to invest? But what they're really asking is, when will I feel safe enough to act? And the answer is rarely about the market. It's about you. A market dips, a coin spikes, a company launches, news cycles shift. But none of it matters more than your ability to stay the course. So ask, is this $100 money I need next week, next month? If yes, keep it liquid. If not, choose a long-term frame. A year, 2, 5. And make peace with stillness, because stillness compounds. Let's say you make a few choices. You split your $100, $60 into a market ETF, $20 into a learning platform or book, and $20 to test a small digital idea, like selling a helpful template or offering a skill online. Now you wait, but you don't watch the screen obsessively. You live, you grow, you save more, you repeat the habit. That's the part nobody sees, but it's where wealth really starts. And when your balance hits $150 or $230 or $500, you'll realize something odd. You're not excited by the number. You're grounded by the process. Because now it's not about turning 100 into 1,000, it's about becoming the kind of person who can do that over and over. Someone who knows that $1,000 isn't a ceiling. It's just another floor, another seed, another starting point. Some people will hear this and say it's too slow, too small, too cautious. But they're looking for noise. You're listening for rhythm. And rhythm is what gets you there. Now, a quiet reminder. This isn't about beating anyone. Not the market, not your friends, not the ghost of your past spending habits. It's about alignment, aligning your values with your actions, your vision with your habits, your money with your meaning, because what good is $1,000 if you lose your peace to get it? That's why we start with small steps. With listening. With care, because the world is loud. But money, real money that lasts, whispers. So let this challenge be more than a number. Let it be a new way of seeing. Let it be about focus, not frenzy. Learning, not rushing. Craft, not chaos. And when you get to $1,000, because you might, you won't just have more money. You'll have more calm, more confidence, more clarity. You'll have earned something quieter but deeper. The sense that you can build things, slowly, thoughtfully, repeatedly. And from there, the numbers are just scenery. You've already arrived. Thanks for walking through this with me. If it brought you something useful or something steady, feel free to share it with someone starting their own path. Sometimes the biggest shift begins with a whisper and a $100. Take care of your vision, and wherever you are, start from there.